Welcome, seeker of tales, to this evening's soft journey into the serene shadows of the past. In the quiet moments after a long day, or when you yearn for a slice of tranquility, it warms my heart to have you by my side. I would love to hear where you are tuning in from and what time it is in your corner of the world. Envision us as radiant points on a whirling sphere, intertwined by wonder and the quiet embrace of twilight. Should this tranquil narrative offer a moment of calm in your day, don't hesitate to subscribe. Countless historical narratives await our sharing. Each year, the North Sea would lay claim to countless vessels, its frigid waters and unexpected storms transforming ordinary fishing trips into fierce struggles for survival. Yet, the sailors navigating these waters were not merely fortunate. They were adept at navigating the challenges of their surroundings, possessing a deep connection to the land forged through the trials of survival. They gazed upon the heavens as if deciphering sacred texts, translating the movements of seabirds into prophetic signs, and honing an uncanny instinct to perceive looming threats long before they emerged. Imagine the struggles of a humble fishing crew embarking from a quaint English coastal village during the harsh depths of winter. Their vessel, a mere 30 feet of oak planking bound by iron nails and sealed with pitch, would likely appear comically insufficient to contemporary observers. Without radar, radio, or weather forecasts, there was only hemp rope, canvas sails, and the rich tapestry of wisdom woven by generations who had come to understand the sea's temper through hard-earned lessons. These men held a vast treasury of wisdom regarding the dance of the winds, keenly aware that even the faintest whisper of a breeze could herald the arrival of a tempest. They observed the waves, paying close attention to the delicate shifts in their rhythm and height, which whispered of far-off storms or hidden challenges beneath the surface. The hue of the water wove tales, pale green, whispering of shallow sandbanks that could spell disaster for the unwary, while deep blue beckoned with the allure of safe passage, yet cautioned of the open ocean's relentless temperament. The journey's greatest challenge lay in the art of navigation. In the age of sails and stars, the brave souls of the sea navigated by the light of the heavens, charting their course through the art of dead reckoning, all while holding close the secrets of the shores they knew so well. They etched into their minds the positions of stars, the rhythms of seasonal winds, and the unique silhouettes of far-off headlands. Seasoned navigators possessed the remarkable ability to gauge their location by sampling the seawater, discerning the delicate variations in salinity and temperature that define the unique characteristics of various oceanic realms. Yet, their most vital skill for survival lay in their ability to interpret the very signs of the weather. In the age of chivalry and adventure, sailors of the medieval seas honed an extraordinary skill, almost magical in its essence, to foresee the tempestuous storms. They keenly observed the delicate omens that in our modern age have only recently been unraveled by the science of meteorology. They understood that specific cloud shapes foretold a change in the wind within hours, that the movements of dolphins and whales hinted at looming storms, and that the very scent of the air whispered warnings of impending peril. When the storms unleashed their fury, the art of survival relied on the wisdom and techniques handed down through the ages by families of the sea. With great care, the crews would fasten down every loose item, rigging storm sails crafted to ensure the ship faced the wind, all in preparation for the fierce battles that might stretch on for days. They grasped the significance of holding their course, adjusting the sails just right to steer with purpose, all while deftly sidestepping the might of the wind. The mental challenges were likely as formidable as the physical ones. Enduring weeks adrift on the vast ocean, confined in tight, damp quarters, faced with unrelenting peril, and the same unvarying meals, pushed even the most resilient spirits to their limits. In the heart of every successful crew, there blossomed a tapestry of rituals and routines, weaving together the threads of morale and unity, binding them in a shared purpose. They wove tales, harmonized their labor with songs that synchronized their tasks, and upheld clear structures that kept disorder at bay in times of crisis. The art of preserving food stood as a vital skill for survival. In the days of yore, when the seas were ruled by intrepid sailors, the absence of refrigeration forced them to depend on the preservation of their provisions. They carried salted meat, resilient hardtack biscuits, and ale, a trusty companion that outlasted even the most fickle waters. In the embrace of fair weather, they mastered the art of catching and preserving fish, a skill that not only enriched their supplies, but also bestowed upon them vital vitamins, warding off the lurking threat of scurvy. The seasoned crews possessed the wisdom of the ages, understanding which seaweeds could nourish them, mastering the art of gathering rainwater with precision, and even uncovering the secrets to extracting life-sustaining water from fish when the situation grew dire. Maintaining a ship at sea demanded unwavering attention and clever resourcefulness. Teams transported provisions of pitch, oakum, and extra canvas to mend breaches and restore integrity. They grasped the art of strengthening frail masts with spare rope, the skill of pumping out water when the hull was breached, and the ingenuity of crafting emergency steering systems when rudders met their fate. Each sailor was called to embody the skills of a carpenter, a rope worker, and an emergency engineer all at once. On the high seas of the medieval era, the intricate web of relationships among crew members was woven with purpose, each thread contributing to the collective quest for survival. In times of crisis, captains wielded unmatched power, yet the wisest among them recognized the value of seeking counsel from seasoned crew members and nurturing the bonds of loyalty within their ranks. In the heart of a crisis, the unwavering commitment of a crew to heed orders without hesitation could spell the fine line between survival and calamity. In a time long past, these intrepid sailors crafted intricate signaling systems, enabling their vessels to share messages over great expanses of water. With vibrant flags fluttering in the breeze, intricate sail configurations catching the wind, and wisps of smoke rising into the sky, they communicated vital messages about the ever-changing weather, lurking navigation hazards, and the welcoming embrace of safe harbors. Skilled mariners possessed the ability to decipher these signals from great distances, weaving together informal networks that guided ships away from peril and towards aid when the need arose. The instruments and apparatus that ensured their survival were wonders of ingenious craftsmanship. Their anchors, crafted to grip firmly in diverse sea-bottom conditions, could spell the difference between weathering a storm in safety and being cast upon treacherous rocky shores. With each twist and turn of the rope, a tale unfolded, showcasing an artistry in knots and splices, each crafted for unique challenges and burdens. Even their attire was uniquely crafted, featuring oiled wool garments that offered warmth in the wettest of conditions, and boots meticulously designed to ensure a firm grip on the slickest of decks. In the age of wooden ships, the brave sailors of the medieval seas crafted ingenious methods to combat the ever-looming peril of fire on their vessels. They mastered the art of extinguishing flames, using sand, damp canvas, and even the vastness of the sea. With careful planning, they arranged their ships to reduce the threat of fire while ensuring they could still prepare meals and stay warm on their chilly journeys. The navigation techniques they crafted were remarkably intricate, weaving together mathematical principles with keen observation of the world around them. With lead lines in hand, they ventured into the depths, measuring the water's embrace and uncovering the secrets of the seabed. This knowledge guided them, illuminating their path in relation to the familiar contours of the coast. They grasped the art of harnessing the sun's position, not merely for navigating the vast expanses, but also for discerning latitude. They crafted techniques for estimating speed and distance traveled that were impressively precise. Yet beyond the realm of technical prowess, the sailors of the medieval era held a profound bond with the sea, a connection so deep and intrinsic that no modern advancement could ever replicate it. They grasped that survival hinged not merely on battling the ocean, but on harmonizing with it, interpreting its rhythms, and adapting in kind. They cultivated a keen awareness of the moments to advance boldly and the times to find refuge, the instances to embrace risk, and the occasions to tread carefully. Their tales of resilience in the face of insurmountable challenges resonate with us even now, igniting a spark of inspiration within our hearts. Stories of brave crews who charted their course by the stars amidst relentless storms, who mended devastating damage with sheer creativity and resolve, who selflessly divided their dwindling water supplies while clinging to the hope of salvation. These were not mere strokes of fortune. In the grand tapestry of existence, these moments shone brightly as beacons of human ingenuity, bravery, and unity, standing resolute against the formidable challenges posed by nature. As we close our eyes to the embrace of slumber tonight, let us hold close the memory of those valiant spirits who dared to navigate the treacherous medieval seas, armed only with wooden vessels and unyielding determination. Their legacy endures in each sailor who gazes at the sky for omens of weather, in every captain who knows that genuine seamanship is about honoring the ocean's might while steadfastly refusing to yield to it. The knowledge of these ancient mariners reached deep into realms beyond simple navigation and the reading of the skies. In the face of raging storms, medieval sailors wielded a treasure trove of techniques, each one a lifeline amidst the tumultuous chaos of the vast ocean, where survival hung by a thread. Imagine yourself on a merchant ship navigating the North Sea, where ominous black clouds loom on the horizon. The wind howls through the rigging, its voice echoing from realms unknown, while towering waves rise like dark, undulating hills of water. In this moment, the culmination of countless generations of wisdom would face its greatest challenge. Securing the ship itself was always the foremost concern. With a sense of urgency, the sailors moved with remarkable precision, securing every hatch, fastening down anything that might turn into a lethal missile, and reefing the sails to shield them from the howling tempest. They understood that even a solitary loose barrel or coil of rope could transform into a bone-crushing weapon as the ship swayed and heaved in the storm's fierce embrace. Yet, their most vital method for enduring the challenges they faced was a practice known as heaving to. As the tempest raged with unrelenting fury, seasoned mariners would deftly adjust their sails and rudder, crafting a careful arrangement that allowed the vessel to momentarily halt in the tumultuous sea, embracing the waves instead of resisting their might. It was akin to guiding the ship to sway gracefully with the tempest, rather than struggling futilely against its mighty force. In the age of chivalry, sailors of the sea grasped the vital need to uphold their vigor amidst the trials they faced. With careful calculation, they would divide their provisions and fresh water, fully aware that a tempest could ensnare them for days, or perhaps even weeks. They journeyed with hardtack, a biscuit so resilient it could endure for months, alongside salted meat that offered vital protein when fresh provisions were out of reach or too difficult to prepare. In the face of raging storms, these skilled navigators employed methods that appear almost magical to our contemporary understanding. They could gauge their location by the hue and warmth of the water, the antics of seabirds, and even the scent that wafted through the air. Some insisted they could savor the proximity of land in the salty mist, discerning the delicate distinction between the vast ocean depths and the gentle embrace of coastal currents. The very creation of their vessels stood as a remarkable tale of ingenuity and resilience in the face of adversity. In the age of knights and castles, ships were crafted with a remarkable ingenuity, allowing them to sway and dance with the rhythm of the ocean, embracing the waves rather than standing defiantly against them. The hull planks were meticulously overlapped and sealed with oakum and tar, crafting a shell that could flex and sway while preserving its watertight essence. Should water ever breach the hull, the sailors, skilled in the art of emergency repairs, would employ a variety of materials, from sailcloth to wooden plugs, to ensure their vessels remained buoyant. Fire loomed as the feared adversary on these wooden ships. In the age of sails and sea, the mariners of the medieval world crafted intricate techniques to safeguard their journeys and master the unpredictable tides. In their quest for safety, they crafted specific cooking zones adorned with sand and metal, instituted rigorous guidelines for flame management, and ensured the readiness of emergency supplies, including damp sand and leather fire blankets. Some ships even boasted rudimentary fire engines, akin to large syringes, capable of unleashing water with impressive power. The intricate relationships among the crew on the ship played a vital role in their very survival. In the age of sails and sea, the crew of a ship adhered to a well-defined order, each man aware of his duty, relying on the steadfastness of his fellow sailors. They crafted intricate systems of watches that guaranteed the ship was always adequately crewed, and they exchanged knowledge openly, recognizing that the survival of one was intertwined with the survival of all. These extraordinary navigators held a deep understanding of the ocean's temperaments and character. They possessed an uncanny ability to decipher the whispers of nature that foretold impending storms, observing the unique patterns of clouds gathering on the horizon and the agitated movements of dolphins and whales. They understood the whispers of the winds that promised smooth journeys and those that heralded chaos. In the face of loss, the brave souls of the medieval seas crafted rituals and practices, weaving together threads of hope to uplift their spirits and shield against the lurking shadows of disease. With solemn care, the bodies were entrusted to the depths of the sea, enveloped in sailcloth and secured with weights to ensure their swift descent into the watery embrace. These ceremonies wove together the threads of practicality and spirituality, paying tribute to those who have passed while safeguarding the lives of the living. In a most extraordinary manner, these ancient seafarers held an unwavering psychological strength, enabling them to confront the ocean's fears time and time again. In their quest for understanding, they wove together beliefs and customs that provided a semblance of mastery over the chaos that surrounded them. From fortunate tokens and sacred invocations to intricate ceremonies aimed at winning the favor of the ocean spirits, they thought controlled their destiny. Their legacy weaves a rich tapestry that stretches far beyond the techniques and technologies they crafted. In the age of chivalry, sailors were the epitome of bravery, daring to navigate the uncharted waters with only their hard-earned knowledge, honed abilities, and an unyielding heart to guide them through the vast mysteries of the sea. They serve as a testament to the remarkable spirit of humanity, illustrating how creativity and resolve can conquer the harshest of circumstances. In the face of despair, survival hinges not merely on our knowledge, but on the wisdom of how we wield that knowledge when hope appears to fade. As we've observed, these extraordinary souls didn't merely navigate the treacherous waters by chance or fate's whim. They crafted intricate systems of understanding, sharpened their practical abilities to perfection, and nurtured the mental resilience required to confront the fiercest trials posed by nature. In the age of chivalry, brave sailors navigated perilous seas, where danger lurked at every wave, yet they persevered against all odds. We have journeyed through the ways. These seafarers interpreted the whispers of nature and crafted vessels capable of braving the fiercest tempests. We have witnessed their strategies for distributing valuable resources and upholding harmony in the face of impending turmoil. Yet there existed an additional facet to their endurance, something that transcended simple skill or navigation prowess. It was the steadfast connections they nurtured among themselves and the traditions that sustained their hope when darkness threatened to engulf them. In those shadowy moments when the waves loomed like giants and the wind wailed, as if echoing the cries of the forsaken, it was not merely expertise that brought them salvation, but the profound understanding that they stood together, united against the tempest, that their comrades on the sea would offer up their last morsel of bread, their final sip of fresh water. When the strength of one faltered, another would step forward to grasp the oar or the rope, ready to carry on the task at hand. In the age of sails and stars, those who braved the vast oceans grasped a truth that today's navigators, despite their advanced tools and safety measures, occasionally overlook. The sea is more than a mere obstacle to conquer with advanced tools or skills. It is a powerful force that challenges the essence of one's being, peeling back the layers of facade to unveil the true nature of a person when confronted with the reality of their own existence. The connections among the crew members transcended the surface of professional ties, weaving a tapestry of deeper understanding and camaraderie. In the heart of their journey, they stood as brothers, bound by the trials they faced together and the unwavering reliance they had on one another. A sailor understood that his fate could hinge on the man dozing in the hammock next to him, just as that man's survival could rest on his own bravery and skill when the time of reckoning came. These bonds were shaped in the fires of challenge. As the tempest raged and the vessel turned into a confining cage, violently swaying under the might of colossal powers, the crew unearthed wells of resilience they had never realized were within them. In the face of urgency, they discovered a remarkable synergy, each individual embracing their part and carrying it out with unwavering resolve and certainty. Yet, it transcended mere survival. In the vast, unchanging expanses between ports, when the wind fell silent and the ship lingered motionless on tranquil waters that seemed to stretch forever, logically, these very men, who had faced death side by side, now battled the creeping shadows of boredom and despair. They wove tales, filled the air with melodies, and exchanged cherished recollections of their roots alongside visions of what was yet to come. A vibrant culture blossomed aboard their floating world, rich with unique customs, laughter, and cherished traditions. The narrative was particularly important. In a time long ago, when the written word was a luxury and few could read, the art of sharing tales was the heartbeat of knowledge, passed down through the voices of those who came before. Seafarers transformed into vibrant repositories of stories, transporting narratives from harbor to harbor, from one shore to another. Whispers of sea monsters and enigmatic islands filled the air. Tales of valiant captains battling fierce storms, and the rise and fall of fortunes on faraway shores danced in the minds of listeners. These tales fulfilled a variety of roles. They captivated the audience, weaving tales that made the endless hours at sea feel like a fleeting moment. Yet they were also wise, sharing vital insights about the stars for navigation, the whims of the weather, treacherous waters, and the sanctuaries of safe harbors. A young sailor may discover deeper lessons in seamanship through the tales shared by his elders than through any structured teaching. The tales wove a tapestry that united the crew, crafting a collective legend that deepened their bond as men of the sea. They were not mere strangers brought together by fate, but rather part of a timeless fellowship that reached back through the ages to the earliest souls who had the courage to sail beyond the horizon. Melodies wove a parallel narrative. Sea shanties served a purpose beyond mere entertainment. They were the rhythmic anthems that united the crew, guiding their efforts through the intricate dance of maritime maneuvers. The cadence of the melody intertwined seamlessly with the tasks at hand, be it tugging on ropes, hoisting the anchor, or expelling bilge water. The leader's voice soared as they sang the verses, while the crew harmonized in the chorus, their collective melody echoing across the water like a gentle breeze carrying tales of old. Yet above all, these melodies and tales nurtured the bond to our roots. For countless mariners, the passage of months or even years may unfold before they once again set foot on their beloved homeland. In that moment, they could effortlessly surrender to the vastness of the sea, transforming into aimless drifters with no tether but the vessel that carried them. The melodies echoed their essence, tracing back to their roots and illuminating the battles they waged to reclaim their true selves. The faith of medieval sailors was a beacon, guiding them through the tumultuous seas and providing solace in their darkest hours. In those days of profound faith, even the toughest mariner found solace in the sacred act of prayer, trusting in the guiding hand of a higher power. Prior to embarking on their journey, the crews gathered for Mass, seeking the sacred blessings bestowed by the priests. They bore with them cherished relics and hallowed texts, convinced that these would shield them from the perils lurking beneath the waves. In the midst of raging storms, when the might of human endeavor felt insufficient against nature's fury, sailors would gather, their voices intertwining in fervent prayer, rising above the tumultuous roar of the wind. They exchanged vows and promises, striking a deal with the divine for a journey unscathed. In the midst of the raging storm, they would beseech, "If you grant us mercy, we shall offer a share of our earnings to the church, embark on a sacred journey to a revered shrine, or strive to lead lives of greater virtue." These religious observances held deeper significance, transcending what might appear as mere superstition to contemporary perspectives. They offered solace for the mind and a guiding light that empowered men to withstand unimaginable trials. The conviction that their pain held purpose, that they were woven into a grand design, fueled their resolve to persevere even when every logical thought urged them to abandon hope. The daily rituals aboard the ship wove a tapestry of camaraderie and order, lifting spirits and instilling a sense of discipline among the crew. Though the meals were often sparse and repetitive, they were enjoyed together, adhering to time-honored traditions. The ship's bell tolled, a rhythmic herald of time's passage, slicing the day into watches and reminding all aboard of their roles and responsibilities. Amidst the swirling chaos, those cherished routines emerged like beacons, casting a warm glow of order and normalcy in the tumultuous landscape. The essence of leadership proved to be vital for the crew's psychological endurance. A true captain embodies more than mere navigation and strategy. They possess an intricate understanding of the human spirit. He understood the delicate balance of authority and empathy, recognizing the moments to drive his men forward and the times to grant them respite. He recognized that nurturing hope held equal weight to caring for the vessel itself. The finest leaders inspire through their actions, enduring the trials alongside their teams instead of claiming any special treatment for themselves. Amidst the fiercest tempests, they stood out, unwavering in turmoil, and just in their allocation of resources and responsibilities. They instilled a sense of trust not by boasting or making empty pledges, but by demonstrating skill and a heartfelt commitment to the well-being of their team. Yet even the most skilled leaders could not erase the heavy burden that life on the ocean imposed on the mind and spirit. Upon the vast and unpredictable seas, sailors encountered not merely the perils of nature, but also the haunting trials of the mind and heart, each capable of claiming a life just as surely as the fiercest storm. The solitude, the unknown, the ever-present shadow of mortality, all weighed heavily on the hearts and minds of men. Some sailors succumbed to the weight of their trials, wandering into the shadows of madness or despair. In a moment of madness, they may leap into the depths, consumed by their own illusions, or unleash a tempest of fury upon their fellow sailors. In the midst of turmoil, the crew faced the challenge head-on, doing their utmost to manage the situation. They often found themselves holding the troubled man steady until the storm within him subsided, and in dire circumstances, they would make the difficult decision to set him ashore at the next port of call. Some sought out unique paths to navigate the weight of their worries. Some embraced a sense of inevitability, surrendering to the notion that their destinies were woven by unseen forces, rendering any concern for the future a futile endeavor. Some individuals found themselves consumed by superstition, crafting intricate rituals and beliefs aimed at fending off misfortune and securing a safe journey. The tales of sailors' superstitions were nothing short of legendary, echoing through the ages. Even in the medieval era, it was said that particular deeds or occurrences held the power to sway the fortunes of a journey, casting shadows of misfortune or blessings of good luck upon the travelers. To slay an albatross was deemed a grave misfortune, just as setting sail on a Friday or whistling in the stillness of the sea brought ill omens. It was widely believed that having women on board a ship brought misfortune, much like the presence of bananas stowed away in the cargo hold. Upon embarking on their journey, sailors would reach out to iron, seeking the favor of fortune, while resolutely turning their gaze away from the familiar shores they left behind. They engaged in a myriad of small, sacred rituals, each one a humble offering to the enigmatic powers that shape their destinies. Though they may appear illogical, these beliefs played a significant role in shaping the human psyche. In a realm where the unpredictable ruled, where the specter of death could strike at any moment through tempest, illness, or the hand of an adversary, these rituals offered a semblance of power over fate. Through the careful execution of their duties and the avoidance of missteps, sailors could sense a semblance of control over their fate, even when reason suggested otherwise. The connections among sailors reached far beyond the confines of their own vessel, weaving a rich tapestry that included the entire seafaring community. When ships crossed paths upon the vast ocean, it was deemed not merely courteous, but vital to extend a hand of help and support. Vessels would exchange provisions, relay tidings and correspondence, and offer assistance with mending or health crises. This act of mutual support stemmed from the wisdom that the one who saves today may find themselves in need tomorrow. Recognizing that the ocean was a formidable foe, without sailors turning against one another. In the bustling ports, a remarkable camaraderie flourished among sailors hailing from diverse ships and nations, uniting them in a shared quest for safety and solidarity. They wove tales of weather patterns, treacherous waters, and the golden paths of trade that promised fortune. They watched over one another's well-being, guiding newcomers through the intricate ways of life upon the sea. Yet, one of the most extraordinary facets of medieval sailors' resilience was their knack for discovering joy and beauty, even when faced with adversity. They gazed in wonder at sunsets that brushed the sky with vibrant hues, at the glowing trail left by their ship on moonlit nights, at the elegant ballet of dolphins frolicking in their wake. In the boundless expanse of the ocean, they discovered marvels, captivated by its ever-shifting moods and myriad expressions. They reveled in their small victories and milestones with a fervor that might appear excessive to those unfamiliar with their journey. Behold the first glimpse of land after endless days adrift, the triumphant mastery of a treacherous route, the thrill of reeling in fresh fish to enliven their weary fare. Each of these moments blossomed into true celebrations. To uncover significance and grace amid their challenging reality was likely the most profound skill for enduring life's trials. It turned what might have been just a trial of endurance into a journey that felt rich with purpose. It empowered men to not merely endure their journeys, but to flourish in their selected craft, overcoming the perils and challenges that lay ahead. The tale of these medieval mariners weaves a rich tapestry that stretches far beyond their remarkable feats in exploration and trade. They wove intricate patterns of behavior and belief that would shape the very fabric of seafaring culture for generations to follow. The traditions of naval discipline, the customs of maritime law, the songs and tales of the sea, all weave together a rich tapestry that can trace its origins back to those early sailors who bravely navigated humanity's most unforgiving environment. Their tale serves as a poignant reminder that survival transcends mere possession of the right tools or mastery of techniques, though those elements hold undeniable significance. True survival, the kind that empowers human beings to not just endure, but to thrive amidst challenges, demands something deeper. It calls for the gift of weaving bonds with others, discovering significance in adversity, and holding on to hope even when the situation appears bleak. The intrepid sailors of the medieval era, who faced the perilous waves, grasped this truth with an innate understanding. They understood that their most formidable defense against the ocean's wrath lay not in any instrument, but in the indomitable connections they had woven with their comrades. Within those connections, they discovered the courage to confront whatever challenges the sea might present, reassured by the understanding that they would navigate it side by side. And so, as we reflect on their extraordinary tale of resilience in the face of daunting challenges, we are reminded that the essence of humanity, when lovingly cultivated and upheld, can withstand nearly any trial. The ocean stretches endlessly, a formidable force, yet the bravery and resolve of those who navigate its depths can match its grandeur. Medieval sailors navigated the treacherous waters not merely by chance or supplication, but through skill and cunning. They had crafted an intricate collection of skills, wisdom, and resilience that sustained them when the wild forces of nature revealed their might. Yet, beneath the surface of practical skills lies a profound essence, a distinguishing factor that set apart those who succumbed from those who triumphed. Survival on the open ocean demanded more than just strong hands and sharp eyes. It called for an indomitable spirit, shaped by the fires of collective struggle. The connections among sailors were woven with threads far more profound than simple camaraderie or workplace collaboration. They were the very essence of survival, threads woven through the fabric of existence that could tip the scales between life and death, when the waves loomed like giants and the wind screamed like tormented spirits. These men understood that no sailor, regardless of skill or experience, could endure the overwhelming indifference of the sea in solitude. In the vast expanse of the ocean, they found solace in one another, not merely to tackle the ship's relentless tasks, but to bolster their spirits against the crushing weight of solitude, the lurking threats, and the haunting shadow of mortality that loomed over them day after day. When tempests unleashed their wrath, when the vessel shuddered and moaned as though it were on the brink of destruction, when emerald waves surged over the deck, eager to drag all into the depths, it was this bond that held them firm. The seasoned sailors would seize the younger ones, their voices rising above the howling wind, delivering not only commands, but also a sense of comfort and confidence. Remain by my side, young one. These were more than mere commands. They were vows woven into the fabric of their bond, pledges that no soul would be forsaken, that they would confront whatever challenges arose side by side. The rituals and traditions that shaped life aboard ship were not simply superstitions or charming customs. In times of turmoil, these practices emerged, crafted with intention to uphold the spirit and togetherness of the group, even as chaos threatened to engulf them. The evening prayers held a deeper significance, woven with threads of seeking divine protection. Yet that was merely one facet of their essence. In those fleeting instances, the crew united, their voices intertwining, a powerful reminder that they belonged to a grander narrative, transcending their personal fears and challenges. The collective utterance of well-known phrases wove a tapestry of continuity and meaning, grounding a man's soul amidst the tumult of a chaotic world. The melodies they shared during their toil were not merely for the sake of passing time or harmonizing their efforts, though they fulfilled those roles as well. They were vivid symbols of shared identity, proclamations that these men were part of a timeless fellowship of those who had embraced the life of the ocean. As they pulled on the lines or lifted the anchor, their voices harmonized in a cadence that echoed the traditions of their forebears. These work songs wove together the rich tapestry of wisdom and experience from countless sailors who had navigated similar challenges, confronted the same fears, and celebrated moments of both triumph and despair. The narratives shared during the lengthy vigils were not simply for amusement, though they undeniably eased the passage of those interminable hours. They served as vessels of practical wisdom, cleverly wrapped in tales of adventure and marvel. A tale of a sailor who endured a shipwreck could weave in essential insights on interpreting weather signs or sourcing fresh water on a lonely isle, while a narrative of a crew that cleverly outsmarted pirates might impart invaluable wisdom on navigation and the art of seamanship. These tales safeguarded the shared legacy of the sailing community, making certain that the hard-earned wisdom would endure even as individual sailors faced their final voyage. On board, the ritual of sharing food and drink was governed by unyielding codes, rooted not in the rules of the sea, but in the very essence of survival itself. As supplies dwindled, as they often did on extended journeys, the fair sharing of the scant resources left could spell the difference between a united crew and one that spiraled into discord and turmoil. The officer who ensured the younger sailor received his fair share of the last hardtack was not merely acting out of kindness. He was weaving the very threads of camaraderie that held the ship together, transforming it from a mere assembly of desperate souls into a cohesive unit, united in purpose. The reverence paid to those who had passed when a sailor was claimed by the sea transcended mere tribute to the deceased. It held deeper significance for those who navigated the waves, ever aware of the shadows cast by their own fleeting existence. It was a matter of honoring the significance of each soul on the vessel, offering comfort to the survivors that their own departures would be acknowledged and remembered. As they assembled on the deck to send their fallen shipmate into the depths, they engaged in a solemn rite that wove together the hearts of the living, all the while recognizing the toll that the ocean occasionally exacted. The bond forged among sailors who braved the tempest together was a rare treasure, unmatched by any connection found on solid ground. It was a bond forged in the fires of necessity, in those fleeting instances when your very existence teetered on the edge, reliant on whether your companion would grasp the rope or allow it to fall away. This was not merely the easy trust found in friendship, or the calculated trust of a business alliance. It was something deeper, a bond that could not be severed. Men who had rescued one another from the edge of oblivion, who had offered their last sip of water or their final morsel of bread, forged connections that surpassed the ordinary limits of human connection. The wisdom they gathered extended beyond mere technicalities. Their grasp of winds and currents, of sail trim and ship handling, played an essential role in their very survival. They cultivated an enchanting awareness of the sea's moods and rhythms, a skill to decipher the delicate signs that could signal impending peril or unveil pathways to safety. They discovered the secrets held within the hues of the water, the contours of the clouds, the dances of the seabirds, and the whispers of the wind against their skin. This wisdom was not inscribed in any tome or laid out in any diagram. It was forged through countless hours of keen observation and the trials of hard-earned experience. The bravery they exhibited was not the ostentatious valor of war's grandeur, but rather a subtle and lasting strength. It was the bravery to ascend the rigging amidst the roaring winds, fully aware that a single misstep could lead to inevitable doom. In the stillness of the night, one soul stood resolute, embracing the solitude that came with the weight of responsibility. While the rest found solace in slumber, this brave heart faced the shadows, wrestling with thoughts and fears that danced in the silence. In the heart of each dawn lay a bravery that defied the shadows of uncertainty, a resolve to embrace the day ahead, fully aware it could be the final chapter. Yet amidst the looming specter of fate, they summoned the fortitude to fulfill their responsibilities and nurture the bonds with their comrades. Yet above all, these medieval sailors grasped that survival transcended mere existence. It was about preserving their humanity in situations that could swiftly erode all sense of dignity and compassion. They crafted intricate codes of conduct and principles that dictated their interactions, the sharing of resources, and the decision-making processes during moments of turmoil. These were not rigid dictates handed down from on high, but rather the natural guidelines that blossomed from their shared insights on how to sustain a thriving community amidst relentless challenges. Their warm embrace of new sailors spoke volumes about their keen insight into the intricacies of human nature and the dance of social dynamics. They understood that the strength of their crew rested upon the frailest link, that the timid lad, embarking on his maiden journey, could transform into a cherished ally or pose a perilous threat to their unity. Thus, they crafted rituals and traditions to welcome newcomers into their midst, imparting not only the technical skills essential for the journey ahead, but also the attitudes and values that would forge them into reliable shipmates. The reverence they held for the ocean was woven with both practicality and a deep sense of spirituality. They came to realize that the ocean was not merely a barrier to conquer or a treasure to plunder, but a vibrant force with its own essence and character. They wove intricate tales of superstitions and taboos surrounding their encounters with the sea, not out of primitiveness or ignorance, but from a deep understanding that nurturing the right bond with this immense power was vital for their very existence. They understood that pride or insolence could lead to dire consequences, for the ocean required a deep sense of respect and humility from all who sought to navigate its vast expanse. Their legacy weaves a rich tapestry that stretches far beyond the mere skills needed to navigate the vast ocean. They revealed the remarkable strength and unity of humanity when confronted with obstacles that appear impossible to overcome. In the face of the gravest challenges, individuals have the remarkable ability to uphold their compassion and look after one another. They demonstrated that true bravery lies not in the absence of fear, but in the readiness to take action despite it when called upon by duty and loyalty. The insights they gained regarding guidance and camaraderie, the delicate dance between personal drive and shared duty, and the significance of customs and ceremonies in fostering community bonds, continue to resonate in our times. Their insight reveals that genuine strength is found not in overpowering others, but in uplifting one another. Survival hinges not on solitary skill, but on collective support and shared sacrifice, imparting wisdom that goes beyond the unique trials of medieval seafaring. Ultimately, the survival of medieval sailors amidst the perilous seas hinged not solely on their understanding of winds and tides, their adeptness with rope and sail, or their talent for interpreting the omens of looming storms. It was their understanding that the most powerful force for survival lay in the steadfast connection among those who had bravely decided to confront the mysteries of life side by side. the tempest of weathering, endurance amidst the relentless waves. In the age of chivalry, sailors of the open seas wielded remarkable skills of survival, allowing them to brave the harsh and unforgiving challenges that life on the water presented. These resilient sailors had gathered wisdom over countless generations, realizing that triumph was rooted not just in their seafaring abilities, but in a complex tapestry of hands-on knowledge, mental fortitude, and an almost enchanting grasp of the ocean's moods. One of the most vital skills for survival lay in the remarkable ability to read and interpret the whispers of the weather with astonishing precision. Experienced mariners had an uncanny ability to feel the stirrings of impending storms long before they took shape on the distant horizon. They observed the delicate changes in the wind's whisper, the unique glow of light dancing through the clouds, and the movements of seabirds, each a sign of the shifting atmosphere. As the air pressure plummets, seasoned sailors instinctively spring into action, fastening down loose gear and bracing themselves for the tumultuous waters that lie ahead. The crafting of medieval ships embodied generations of knowledge, honed through the trials of braving the tempestuous seas. Vessels were crafted with supple connections, allowing them to sway and dance with the undulating sea instead of resisting its rhythm. The interlocking planks of clinker-built hulls enabled the vessel to bend and sway like a living being, gracefully absorbing the immense power of towering waves. With a careful application of tar, oakum, and animal fat, the crew crafted multiple layers of waterproofing that held back the relentless sea. Yet, the unending task of bailing water was an ever-present reality for those aboard the ship. When storms unleashed their fury, survival hinged on a delicate dance of seamanship, honed through the ages by those who came before. With the winds howling and the skies darkening, sailors would swiftly trim their sails, sometimes leaving their ships as mere skeletons, stripped down to bare poles in the face of nature's fury. They discovered the art of running before the wind when the opportunity arose, employing sea anchors or drogues to keep their vessel steady and avert the peril of broaching amidst the tumultuous embrace of heavy following seas. The seasoned captains understood the art of heaving to, skillfully angling their vessels to glide gracefully over the waves instead of battling through them. In the midst of the vast ocean, the call for emergency repairs demanded a blend of creativity and bravery that would astonish even the most daring of souls today. In a time long past, sailors braved the elements in ways that would send shivers down the spines of today's seafarers. They climbed the treacherous, ice-laden rigging and faced the fierce winds, all to mend torn sails or fasten wayward yards. With them, they bore a collection of tools and materials crafted for the most urgent of circumstances: spare canvas, coils of rope, wooden plugs ready to mend hull breaches, and the wisdom to create makeshift steering gear from shattered spars and sailcloth. The mental aspect of survival held immense importance as well. In the age of sails and stars, seafarers crafted intricate rituals and held fast to superstitions, weaving a tapestry of belief that bolstered their spirits and united them as one, even in the face of the stormiest trials. Through the sharing of songs, tales, and sacred rituals, deep connections of brotherhood were forged. Connections that could spell the difference between life and death, as each man's survival hinged on the unwavering commitment of his fellow shipmate. The sharing of narratives during extended vigils was not just for amusement. It was a vital means of conveying essential wisdom regarding navigation, weather forecasting, and emergency protocols. The art of preserving food and water stood as a crucial domain of expertise, distinguishing triumphant journeys from calamitous failures. Sailors became attuned to the telltale signs of spoilage in their salt pork and hardtack, crafting clever techniques to stretch their meager rations during long voyages across the vast sea. They possessed the wisdom of the ocean, understanding the varieties of seaweed that could enhance their meals, mastering the art of fishing even amidst turbulent waters, and, most importantly, knowing the secrets to gathering and preserving fresh water when the skies opened up. The skill of managing water supplies could mean the difference between life and death for a crew, dictating whether they would reach port once more. Finding one's way across the vast ocean without the aid of contemporary tools demanded an extraordinary attunement to the ever-changing rhythms and whispers of the sea. In the age of sails and salt, the seafarers of the medieval world possessed an uncanny ability to decipher the whispers of the ocean. They would observe the hues and movements of the waves, each ripple a clue guiding them closer to the embrace of land. The graceful arcs of seabirds in flight painted a map in the sky, revealing the path and distance to the welcoming shores. And as the wind danced around them, it carried the scent of lush greenery and the promise of fresh water, a fragrant herald of the land's bounty awaiting just beyond the horizon. With unwavering dedication, they etched the constellations into their minds, aware that this heavenly wisdom could be their sole beacon leading them back through the vast unknown of the sea. In a truly remarkable turn of events, these sailors came to grasp the intricate dance of ocean currents and tidal patterns, enabling them to harness the sea's natural forces instead of battling against them. With keen observation and skillful navigation, they harnessed the gentle embrace of the currents to stretch their journey further while safeguarding their vital provisions. Their understanding of the moon's dance allowed them to foresee the ebb and flow of the tides with astonishing precision. This wisdom, shared through the ages and shaped by lived experiences, embodied a kind of oceanographic understanding that would remain unrecorded for centuries to come. Amidst the trials faced at sea, a remarkable camaraderie blossomed among the crew, giving rise to a distinctive maritime brotherhood that rose above the conventional social structures of medieval society. Amidst the tempest's wrath, lineage held little weight against the skill of a sailor. The youngest hand, adept at securing a knot in the howling winds, could earn greater esteem than a noble who faltered in the basics of navigation. In the vast expanse of the ocean, a unique culture emerged, one where skill and bravery became the most valuable treasures of all. In the age of sails and tides, these intrepid seafarers crafted ingenious strategies to navigate the ever-present peril of shipwreck. With ingenuity, they crafted makeshift rafts from broken spars and empty barrels. They signaled for rescue with mirrors or fires, and they mastered the art of survival in the water for long stretches, using inflated animal bladders as flotation devices. Chapter 6. The Shackles of the Mind. The perilous waters were but a fraction of the challenges faced by sailors in the medieval era. As tempests raged and waves crashed against their ships, a far more treacherous foe lay hidden in the shadows of their thoughts. The relentless psychological battle fought over months at sea, the suffocating solitude, and the ever-present shadow of death conjured a tempest of a wholly different nature. Imagine this scene. 3 months have slipped by on a journey that was meant to last just 6 weeks. The taste of your fresh water evokes hints of copper and the essence of algae. 2 weeks passed. The final remnants of the salt pork succumb to rancidity. Each dawn greets you with the unchanging vastness of gray water, reaching out to touch every edge of the world. As night descends, you surrender to sleep, surrounded by the familiar sounds of creaking timbers and the quiet murmurs of men who have begun to converse with their own thoughts. It appears that the human mind was never meant to endure such extended periods of sensory deprivation and stress. In the days of yore, the brave souls who sailed the treacherous seas often found themselves grappling with shadows of the mind, experiencing what we now understand as profound melancholy, restless anxiety, and, in the most harrowing instances, a complete fracture from the very fabric of reality. Yet, they spoke of these afflictions in their own unique way. They referred to it as sea madness or the blue devils, and every seasoned sailor recognized the telltale signs. First arrived the sorrowful shadow. Men would gaze out at the water for hours, their eyes becoming glassy and distant, as if lost in a world beyond the horizon. They would withdraw from conversations, cease the joyful singing of work songs that once harmonized their efforts, and lose interest in their appearance and basic hygiene. The seasoned veterans sensed that this was merely the dawn of a brewing storm, one that could escalate into something far more perilous, and so the visions began to unfold. Seafarers would insist they glimpsed land on the horizon even when the vast ocean stretched endlessly before them. From the depths of the waves, familiar voices would beckon, calling out their names. At times, it was the tender tones of wives and children they had left behind. At others, the haunting echoes of shipmates lost to the sea on earlier journeys. Whispers abound of magnificent cities emerging from the abyss, adorned with towering spires, ringing bells, and bustling streets filled with life. Those ensnared by this peculiar madness would come to believe that their deliverance was not aboard the vessel, but rather within the depths of the water itself. They would leap towards the sea, convinced they could tread upon the shimmering waves, or that enchanting mermaids awaited to whisk them away to a paradise hidden beneath the depths. Wise captains kept their eyes peeled for these warning signs, sharp and vigilant like hawks in the sky. They would pair the most sorrowful sailors together, ensuring that none would stand watch in solitude. They would take turns with their responsibilities to ensure that no one was left gazing too long at the vast expanse of water. They fostered an atmosphere rich with tales and games, anything to keep the imagination alive and the spirit vibrant. Yet, one might argue that the most potent shield against the encroaching sea madness lay in the embrace of ritual and routine. In the age of sails and tides, seafarers crafted intricate rituals and traditions, weaving a tapestry of meaning that grounded them amidst the vast, uncharted waters of their existence. Each day unfolded with its own set of rituals, a familiar cadence that wove together the moments, creating small celebrations that honored the flow of time and nurtured a shared sense of belonging. As dawn broke, the watch commenced with solemn prayers and a careful assessment of the wind's whispers. The midday gaze upon the sun transcended mere navigation. Each day, they engaged in a sacred practice that wove the crew into the vast tapestry of the universe, a gentle reminder that they remained linked to a realm far beyond their wooden confines. As dusk settled in, a ritual unfolded, marked by the communal sharing of the day's brew, whether it be beer or wine. Tales were spun, rich with the echoes of the past, and melodies flowed, songs that had traversed the waves through countless generations of sailors. These were not merely charming customs. They were intricate methods of navigating the mind's labyrinth for survival. The tales fulfilled various roles, transcending simple amusement. They safeguarded vital wisdom regarding navigation, weather patterns, and the art of seamanship. They nurtured ties to their roots and loved ones, and perhaps most significantly, they offered a lens through which to comprehend and navigate the challenges of life at sea. Imagine the tale of St. Elmo's fire, that haunting electrical spectacle that would occasionally waltz along the rigging amidst the tempestuous storms. To a contemporary onlooker, it appears merely as a captivating dance of atmospheric electricity. To the sailors of the medieval era, it was a sight to behold, the very embodiment of Saint Erasmus, their guardian saint, arriving to shield them in their most perilous moments. This was not a lack of understanding. It was a tale of adaptive psychology. Through the lens of a captivating narrative, the sailors turned a terrifying natural occurrence into a symbol of divine safeguarding, allowing them to cling to hope and bravery in moments that could easily lead to despair. Their understanding of the mind shaped their perspective on the final journey across the waves. When a shipmate passed away, his memory could not fade into the shadows or be brushed aside. The sorrow and dread that such losses could unleash upon a crew were like a contagion, capable of sweeping through their ranks if left unacknowledged. Thus, the sailors crafted intricate funeral ceremonies that celebrated the departed, all the while strengthening the connections among those still living. The lifeless form would be carefully wrapped in a canvas shroud, its weight enhanced by stones or iron, a solemn farewell to the departed. Yet, prior to the final farewell, a gathering of significance would unfold. The captain would weave a tapestry of words over the fallen, sharing not merely prayers for his soul, but vivid tales of his service, his character, and the invaluable contributions he made to the crew. Other sailors would weave memories, recount tales, and occasionally sing the songs that the departed had cherished. Then arrived the pivotal moment of surrender to the depths. As the body sank into the depths, the crew paused, honoring their lost companion with a solemn silence before raising their glasses in a heartfelt toast. This was something deeper than simple emotion. It served as a means to navigate grief together, to uplift spirits in the shadow of mortality, to reshape the terror of death into something profound and even exquisite. Yet, the most subtle psychological challenge was not the tumultuous upheaval of storms or the shadow of death. It was the gradual, relentless wearing away of hope that accompanied journeys that extended far beyond what was anticipated. As the wind fell silent, leaving ships stranded for weeks on end, with dwindling supplies and no land in sight, when the meticulously plotted course faltered and uncertainty loomed, that was the moment when true resilience of the mind was put to the ultimate trial. Seasoned mariners understood that this was the moment when true guidance was essential. A leader who exudes confidence and commands respect, even while grappling with inner fears, can steer his crew away from the brink of chaos and rebellion. The finest captains possessed an innate understanding of human nature, recognizing that their most valuable treasure wasn't the merchandise stowed away, but rather the spirit and well-being of their crew. They would weave a narrative of certainty, even as uncertainty loomed large. With unwavering confidence, they would persist in issuing orders, upholding discipline and routine, and projecting the image of men who possessed a clear sense of direction and purpose. Perhaps most crucially, they would master the flow of information, sharing good news at once while skillfully managing the timing and manner of revealing setbacks or dangers. In these extraordinary circumstances, the bond between captain and crew transcended anything experienced on solid ground. It called for a careful blend of command and closeness, of separation and approachability. A captain bore the weight of being a father, a priest, and a commander, all intertwined in a single role. He needed to possess the strength to navigate the weighty choices of life and death, yet remain relatable enough for his men to confide in him with their vulnerabilities and uncertainties. Some captains accomplished this through an undeniable charisma, individuals whose unwavering confidence radiated and inspired those around them. Some leaned on their profound knowledge, showcasing a level of skill in seamanship and navigation that left their crews with no option but to place their faith in their decisions. The most insightful individuals wove together both methods, exuding strength yet staying accessible, upholding authority while demonstrating true concern for the well-being of those they led. The psychological pressures extended beyond the ranks of the common sailors. The weight upon the shoulders of captains and officers grew even heavier. They bore not only their own trepidations, but also the heavy burden of accountability for each spirit on board. In a world where shadows danced with uncertainty, they found themselves at a crossroads, compelled to make choices with fragments of knowledge, each path laden with perilous consequences. They were compelled to wear a mask of confidence, even when doubt gnawed at their insides, to cling to hope when the shadows of despair loomed large, and to shoulder the weight of guilt when their decisions cast a dark pall over lives, leading to suffering or loss. Numerous captains crafted their unique ways to navigate the storms within their minds. Some embraced their faith with a fervor that danced on the edge of the mystical, dedicating countless hours to prayer and discovering in their beliefs a wellspring of strength that transcended the limits of human resolve. Some individuals immersed themselves in the rhythm of routine and the intricacies of detail, discovering in the meticulous adherence to naval protocol a means to grasp control amidst the surrounding turmoil. The most successful captains discovered the art of perceiving their crews not merely as workers, but as intricate individuals, each with their own needs, fears, and aspirations. They would uncover the names and histories of each man on board, delving into their family circumstances, their financial struggles, and their aspirations. This was not just an act of kindness, it was a clever play of the mind. A captain who grasped the driving forces behind each of his men could skillfully uphold morale and avert the shadows of despair that might spiral into mutiny or madness. They would also uncover the delicate cues of psychological turmoil before they escalated into something perilous. There was a sailor who had become unusually silent, a man who started to stash away his food rations, and a crew member who found himself fixated on tales of home. These were the subtle hints that called for attention before they blossomed into a full-blown crisis. At times, the remedy was as straightforward as shifting responsibilities, bringing an individual out of solitude and into collaborative endeavors with their peers. At times, it involved weaving a dialogue, gently uncovering his fears and confronting them head-on. At times, it called for bold measures, isolating an individual who had turned perilous to himself or those around him until the storm had subsided. The mental burden of life at sea reached deep into the soul, lingering long after the journey had ended. Those who braved the vast oceans for years often returned to shore, forever transformed by the tales woven into their journeys. They had forged a unique bond with risk, embraced uncertainty, and confronted death in a way that was entirely their own. Numerous souls struggled to find their footing once more in the familiar yet challenging cadence of life on Earth. The concerns that consumed their families and neighbors appeared insignificant when weighed against the harrowing battles they had endured on the vast, unforgiving sea. This resulted in a profound sense of isolation, a mental estrangement that lingered even in the familiar surroundings of home. In the warm glow of tavern lights, sailors would come together, weaving tales of their adventures and trials. In these circles of camaraderie, they discovered a profound connection, a shared understanding that eluded those untouched by the sea's formidable trials. These were not merely social gatherings. They were intimate circles of healing where men could share their stories, navigate their traumas, and forge bonds with those who genuinely grasped the weight of their experiences. The families of sailors encountered their own emotional trials. Wives stood on the shore, their hearts heavy as they watched their husbands set sail into the unknown, uncertain if they would ever see them again. Children would come of age with fathers who felt like enigmas, men who would surface momentarily between their journeys only to vanish once more into the boundless mystery beyond. The ever-present shadow of uncertainty looms, weaving a tapestry of unpredictability, where the specter of death dances silently, ready to strike without a whisper of warning. A unique form of persistent tension emerged, casting a shadow over entire communities reliant on the ebb and flow of maritime trade. Yet against all odds, amidst the weight of psychological pressures, medieval sailors not only endured, but flourished. They forged a resilience that feels almost otherworldly by today's measures. They discovered how to uncover significance and intention in endeavors that were, by all accounts, remarkably perilous and challenging. They wove together communities of unwavering support, resilient enough to endure challenges that would shatter the spirits of many in today's world. Much of this strength arose from the sheer intensity of their situation. In the face of uncertainty, the worries and troubles that burden our easy lives tend to dissolve into the background. In confronting the core challenges of life, one discovers a profound clarity, a shedding of the superfluous that, in its own way, opens the door to a unique sense of liberation. Yet, it is crucial to recognize that medieval sailors possessed insights into human nature that seem to have faded from our awareness in this cozy contemporary era. They understood that significance arises not from the lack of hardship, but from the capacity to uncover purpose amidst it. They came to realize that true bravery lies not in the absence of fear, but in the resolve to take action in its presence. In that moment, they understood that the strongest connections between people are not created in times of ease, but rather in the face of daunting challenges, where they stand together against the tide. The sea, with its awe-inspiring beauty and formidable strength, transformed into a profound guide for these men. It peeled back the layers of facade and deception, compelling them to face the core truths of life itself. Life's fleeting nature, the shadows of doubt, and the call for bravery when confronted with the mysteries ahead. Those who embraced these lessons did not merely endure the sea, they were reshaped by its vastness, emerging as individuals of remarkable insight and profound understanding. The echoes of these medieval mariners resonate deeply, weaving a rich tapestry that transcends the mere annals of maritime history. Their ways of keeping a clear mind and high spirits in the face of overwhelming stress, their strategies for fostering unity among teammates during turbulent times, their grasp of guiding others when the stakes are high. These lessons hold true for anyone confronting remarkable trials. They demonstrated that, when nurtured and guided, the resilience of the human spirit can withstand nearly any challenge. They revealed that within the toughest trials, one can uncover meaning and purpose. In their journey, they revealed how the connections formed among those confronting shared perils can rise above the usual barriers of class, nationality, and background. In today's world, where safety and comfort reign supreme, we have, it seems, drifted away from these invaluable lessons. We have exchanged the tough lessons passed down from our forebears for the gentle mirages of safety. Yet the sea holds on to its memories, and the echoes of those brave medieval sailors who confronted its trials with unwavering spirit and cleverness still ignite a spark in those who choose to journey beyond the familiar shores of ordinary existence into the boundless mysteries, where true adventure and profound transformation lie in wait. It became clear that the mind was the sailor's most profound weakness and his most powerful tool. Yet the most extraordinary proof of these sailors' cleverness lay in their skill to traverse immense oceans without the aid of contemporary tools. In a time long past, when the stars were the only guides and the sea whispered secrets, medieval sailors crafted navigation methods that seemed almost magical. They deciphered the oceans as if they were sacred scrolls, unraveling the secrets held within each wave, breeze, and shifting cloud, all essential for their very existence. For seasoned sailors, the craft of dead reckoning flowed effortlessly, a skill honed through countless voyages on the open sea. With keen observation, they could gauge their location by meticulously monitoring their speed, direction, and the time elapsed since departing from a familiar landmark. With the aid of humble instruments, they gauged the speed of their ship by letting a knotted rope slip into the depths, counting the knots that flowed through their fingers within a set time frame. From this, the nautical term knots emerged, a measure of speed that continues to echo through the ages. Yet, the essence of navigation lay beyond mere calculations. Skilled voyagers could interpret the sea as if it were a vibrant tapestry of stories waiting to be unveiled. They recognized that each body of water possessed its own unique traits. The hue of the ocean whispered tales of its vastness and closeness to the shore. The deep ocean waters unfolded in shades of dark blue and black, whispering secrets of the abyss, while the lighter blues and greens danced playfully, revealing the shallower coastal realms. The murky or stained waters frequently hinted at the approach of river mouths or harbors just beyond the horizon. The dance of waves revealed yet another essential guide for navigation. Wise mariners understood that the great ocean swells danced in rhythmic patterns over endless expanses, shaped by far-off tempests or unyielding breezes. The swells served as their compass, leading them through the murky veil of local weather that hid other navigational signs. In a truly fascinating twist, they discovered the art of perceiving the delicate wave reflections that danced upon the surface when swells met far-off islands or coastlines. This remarkable skill enabled them to sense the presence of land long before it graced the horizon with its visibility. Nature's compass guided these maritime explorers through the wild tapestry of wildlife. Some seabirds, with their wings spread wide, seldom strayed far from the embrace of the coast. their very presence whispering tales of land just beyond the horizon. Their flight patterns at dawn and dusk painted a vivid picture, guiding us to the hidden roosting sites along far-off shores. In the dance of the ocean, schools of fish weave through floating debris, while the hues and warmth of the water whisper secrets about the currents, the moods of the weather, and the closeness to the shore. In the age of chivalry, sailors of the sea became adept at the ancient craft of navigating by the stars, employing techniques that, while rudimentary compared to what would come later, were nonetheless remarkable for their time. They relied on the North Star as their guiding light in the vast night sky, keenly aware that its elevation above the horizon revealed their latitude. On clear nights, they could navigate by ensuring that certain constellations held steadfast positions in relation to their vessel. Once a remarkable gift from the minds of ancient Greek and Islamic scholars, the astrolabe became a tool of wonder for navigators, enabling them to measure the heights of celestial bodies with newfound precision. In the hands of a master, these seemingly primitive instruments held the power to unveil the secrets of latitude with an accuracy that might astonish the untrained eye. In the unfolding tale of exploration, the magnetic compass emerged, a gift from Chinese ingenuity, offering steadfast direction even when the stars were shrouded by clouds. Yet steering through the waters demanded more than just a mastery of the tools at hand. It required an extraordinary knack for weaving together myriad environmental hints into meaningful insights. The most esteemed navigators cultivated an extraordinary ability, a kind of instinct that enabled them to sense their path across uncharted seas. These skilled navigators conveyed their wisdom through the art of storytelling, weaving techniques into tales, melodies, and vivid demonstrations. Young sailors absorbed knowledge through keen observation and attentive listening, slowly honing their own awareness of the sea's delicate whispers. This wisdom was frequently kept under lock and key, for adept navigators earned substantial pay and held vital roles on ships. The blending of practical navigation with spiritual belief wove together a distinctive maritime culture. In the hearts of many sailors, the art of navigation was seen as a dance between skill and the blessings of the divine. Before embarking on their grand voyages, they engaged in sacred rituals, carried cherished relics imbued with blessings, and adhered to unwavering codes of conduct, all in pursuit of divine protection throughout their travels. The ability to foresee the weather transformed into a crucial skill for survival. In the age of sails and the open sea, mariners honed extraordinary skills, allowing them to predict tempests and shifting weather patterns long before they arrived, sometimes even days ahead. They deciphered the heavens as one would a narrative, unraveling the tales woven by cloud formations, the whispers of the wind, and the subtle shifts in atmospheric pressure. The hues and actions of sunrises and sunsets whispered secrets about the weather that was on the horizon. A halo encircling the moon or sun foretold the approach of storms. When the skies blush with red at night, they whisper of calm days ahead. Yet when dawn breaks with a fiery hue, it warns of storms on the horizon. The actions of marine creatures also offered hints about the weather. As dolphins frolic near the surface, they weave a tale of tranquility, hinting at serene waters ahead. Meanwhile, the peculiar antics of birds may whisper warnings of tempestuous skies on the horizon. The power to foresee outcomes was truly a question of survival. The art of predicting the weather empowered sailors to find refuge, change their paths, or ready their ships for the tempestuous seas ahead. The finest navigators possessed an uncanny ability to perceive shifts in the atmosphere, insights that contemporary meteorology now validates as genuine occurrences. Even without a grasp of the scientific intricacies at play, the trials of navigating together wove a tapestry of profound connections among the crew, binding them through their shared experiences. Every sailor's knowledge and observations were essential for the success of the voyages. In the heart of the ship, the helmsman, lookouts, and ordinary seamen each held vital responsibilities, weaving together the threads of navigational knowledge and insight. The crew's journey was woven together through a shared approach to navigation, deepening their bonds and reliance on one another. In the age of sails and stars, navigation wove together the tales of medieval sailors, linking them to vast realms of maritime wisdom. In the bustling port cities, a vibrant tapestry of tales unfolded as mariners gathered to share their adventures. They spoke of newfound routes, treacherous waters, and the art of navigation, weaving a rich narrative of exploration and discovery. In the tapestry of human connection, these informal networks wove together innovations, swiftly traversing great distances. They crafted a collective reservoir of maritime knowledge, one that soared above the confines of nations and cultures, uniting all who ventured upon the seas. The vast impact of exceptional navigation abilities on the economy was truly remarkable. Those who could skillfully navigate the vast expanse to distant markets found themselves wielding remarkable advantages over their rivals. With precise navigation, the journey became swifter. Losses from misdirection were diminished, and fresh trade paths emerged, leading to extraordinary gains. The most adept navigators transformed into prized companions on the journey, often reaping rewards in the form of stakes in trading ventures instead of mere wages. Yet the journey was never solely about arriving at the endpoints. It embodied the spirit of human resolve to transcend familiar limits, to venture forth and weave connections across far-flung corners of the globe. In the age of sails and stars, those intrepid mariners who honed their craft became the trailblazers of their time, pushing the boundaries of what humanity could dream and achieve. Their tale weaves through the fabric of time, reaching far beyond the waves of maritime history. The bravery to explore uncharted territories, the expertise to navigate vast, unmarked seas, and the insight to interpret nature's delicate cues embody the timeless qualities vital for the advancement of humanity. These sailors embarked on a journey not merely across the waters, but through the profound shift from a world once divided and isolated to the vibrant tapestry of global civilization we recognize today. As we ponder their accomplishments, we are reminded that true survival often demands more than merely weathering the storm of adversity. It calls for the cleverness to grasp intricate abilities, the insight to draw lessons from the natural world, and the bravery to explore uncharted territories. Yet, as these seasoned sailors navigated the formidable trials of the vast ocean, they encountered a distinct threat that could bring about their downfall just as effectively as any tempest or treacherous coastline. In the age of medieval seafaring, the tides of fortune were as treacherous as the waters themselves. One moment, a sailor could bask in the glow of riches, only to find those dreams swept away like the morning mist. A single misstep could turn a master navigator into a figure of despair, lost to the unforgiving sea. Picture this: These weren't merely sailors setting off on whimsical journeys across the enchanting sea. They were astute businessmen, merchants, and traders, whose very existence hinged on their skill to maneuver through not only perilous waters, but also the equally treacherous tides of medieval trade. Each journey unfolded as a grand gamble, where the stakes transcended mere gold and silver, intertwining with the very essence of human lives and the legacies of families that could echo through the ages. The sum needed for a single trading venture was nothing short of astonishing for the medieval era. A merchant could find himself on the brink, wagering all he possessed to prepare a single ship for a solitary voyage. The ship stood as a testament to wealth, demanding the craftsmanship of expert builders, the finest wood, iron hardware, and canvas that surpassed the earnings of an average lifetime. Next arrived the crew's wages, the supplies needed for months adrift on the ocean, the tools for navigation, and most importantly, the precious cargo itself. Imagine a Venetian merchant in the 13th century, poised on the bustling docks, watching as diligent workers carefully load his ship with exquisite treasures, bound for the vibrant city of Constantinople. Stacks of the most exquisite Flemish wool, barrels of rich French wine, rolls of luxurious English fabric, and treasure chests brimming with silver coins, all embodying the culmination of his endeavors. The overall worth could match what a master artisan might accumulate over 2 decades of dedicated work, and every single fragment of it was on the brink of vanishing beyond the horizon, aboard a wooden vessel that could be shattered by the fury of a single storm or the onslaught of a pirate raid. The weight of the mine's burden must have been truly immense. These merchants were not merely gambling with their finances, they were wagering the futures of their children, the safety of their wives, and the comfort of their own twilight years. In a time of great ambition, countless souls took bold steps, risking everything they held dear, their homes, their businesses, and even their very liberty, hoping to turn dreams into reality. Failure held consequences far beyond mere financial loss. It could lead to the grim fate of enslavement or the dark confines of a debtor's prison for them and their loved ones. Alas, fortune did not smile upon them. In the age of knights and castles, the seas were treacherous, and the ships that braved them often faced losses that would send shivers down the spine of any modern merchant. Vessels disappeared into the abyss, consumed by tempests or marauders, leaving in their wake nothing but sorrow and financial ruin for those they left behind. Even the most triumphant journeys could swiftly descend into chaos if the tides of politics shifted while they sailed the open waters, turning once welcoming harbors into treacherous lands where their precious cargo could be seized and their brave crews cast into captivity. Imagine the tale of Marco Benedetto, a Genoese trader whose family pooled every last resource they possessed to embark on a daring trading expedition to the Black Sea in the year 1347. Upon the deck of the grand vessel, treasures of opulence lay in abundance, exquisite spices, shimmering jewels, and precious metals, all valued at a king's ransom. As they journeyed eastward, little did they realize that the ominous shadow of the Black Death was already creeping west along the very trade routes they traversed. As they arrived at their destination, the scene was grim. Half the crew lay lifeless or on the brink of death. The ports were engulfed in turmoil, and the meticulously crafted trading alliances had crumbled into a state of sheer panic and isolation. Benedetto stood at a crossroads, burdened by a choice that seemed insurmountable. He faced a choice: to peddle his wares at devastating prices to any soul willing to engage with his cursed vessel, or to embark on the treacherous return journey with a shattered crew and a cargo that could very well be rendered worthless by the time he reached his homeland. In any case, it seemed that the family's wealth had slipped through their fingers. In the bustling markets of medieval times, merchants found themselves at a crossroads, grappling with choices that offered no clear path to safety, only varying shades of impending doom. Yet, lurking in the shadows of the medieval seas, there were dangers far more sinister than disease or the whims of nature. Human predators, ever watchful and ready to strike. Pirates were not merely outlaws. They frequently served as state-backed marauders, sailing the seas with the unspoken endorsement of competing realms. Imagine a Venetian merchant navigating the treacherous waters ruled by Genoa, only to have his ship captured and his precious cargo taken away, all under the guise of a mysterious trade disagreement. In a world devoid of international law to shield them, without the safety net of insurance to mend their losses, and lacking a coast guard to answer their cries for help, they found themselves utterly alone. The most successful merchants wove intricate strategies to mitigate these perils, yet even their careful measures laid bare the true dangers of medieval trade. They chose to divide their cargo among several ships, believing that if one vessel were to meet its fate, the remaining ones might still navigate safely through the perils ahead. They journeyed in groups whenever feasible, a task that demanded intricate planning and collective expenses, further nibbling away at their already slender profit margins. In a clever ruse, certain merchants dispatched decoy ships, filling them with cargo of no value, luring pirates into their trap, while their genuine treasures stealthily navigated an alternate path. Some offered their respect to formidable lords or cunning pirate leaders, essentially securing their safety from those who could easily bring about their ruin. These payments were merely another expense in the grand tapestry of commerce, adding yet another thread of uncertainty to an already fragile venture. The funding of these journeys unveils the depths of desperation that the circumstances could reach. In the bustling world of trade, merchants would come together to forge alliances known as commenda. In this arrangement, one partner would supply the necessary capital, while the other contributed their labor and expertise, creating a harmonious blend of resources and skills. The profit-sharing arrangements wove a tapestry of complexity, mirroring the vast risks that lay beneath the surface. A prosperous journey could yield three- or fourfold the initial investment, yet the specter of complete loss loomed large, ever present in the shadows of ambition. In a time long past, affluent investors, from revered monasteries to esteemed noble families, would weave their fortunes across a tapestry of ventures, crafting what could be seen as the earliest forms of investment portfolios. Yet, even this variety could not shield against the sweeping calamities of plagues, wars, or economic downturns that struck whole regions at once. The burden on the merchants weighed heavily on their minds and spirits. These men endured a relentless unease, acutely aware that the whispers of their ship's destiny could remain shrouded in silence for months, perhaps even years. In their quest for divine favor, they crafted intricate rituals and embraced superstitions, pouring their hopes into fervent prayers, sacred pilgrimages, and bountiful offerings to the churches. The Virgin Mary emerged as the guiding light for sailors, not merely through acts of faith, but because these seafarers yearned for a force greater than their own fragile grasp on destiny. The strains of these pressures took a heavy toll on family life. In a world where merchants embark on journeys that can stretch for months or even years. Their wives stand resilient, shouldering the weight of businesses and households. Each day brings the unyielding shadow of uncertainty as they navigate life with the ever-present possibility of widowhood looming over them. In a world where children often found themselves distant from their fathers, the bonds of marriage were tested by the relentless tides of uncertainty and separation. In the face of countless perils and challenges, the intrepid merchants of the medieval era pressed on, daring to stake it all on their adventurous journeys. They found themselves with no options left. In a realm where the nobility held dominion over the land, trade emerged as the sole avenue to genuine prosperity, while most professions provided scant opportunity for elevation. The allure of the rewards was so grand that they made nearly any risk seem worthwhile. A prosperous trading journey has the power to elevate an unassuming merchant to the ranks of the richest individuals in his city. The riches gleaned from rare spices, exquisite gems, or sumptuous fabrics could be staggering, often yielding returns of 10 or even 20 times the initial outlay. With these unexpected fortunes, prosperous merchants could weave their way into the fabric of power, orchestrate beneficial unions for their offspring, and lay the groundwork for family legacies that would endure through the ages. The most prosperous merchants were those who wove together sharp business sense with true mastery of the seas. They grasped not only the ebb and flow of market conditions and the intricate paths of trade routes, but also the tangible truths of shipbuilding, the art of navigation, and the nuances of managing a crew. They embodied the essence of a multifaceted persona, blending the shrewdness of a businessman, the daring spirit of a sea captain, the finesse of a diplomat, and the risk-taking nature of a gambler, navigating a realm where triumph demanded the mastery of skills that eluded the grasp of most. These merchant navigators honed an extraordinary skill for discerning risks and seizing opportunities. With a keen eye, they would gaze upon a ship, effortlessly assessing its readiness to brave the waves. They would scrutinize the cargo, discerning its quality and worth in the bustling market. Engaging with foreign traders, they would gauge their reliability, all the while mentally navigating the intricate web of profit margins and risks that lay ahead. Their triumph was not solely a matter of personal talent, however. The most accomplished merchants wove intricate webs of connections that reached across vast continents. They nurtured connections in every significant harbor, kept in touch with fellow merchants across great expanses, and built reputations for dependability that could unlock opportunities in the farthest reaches of the known world. Yet, amidst their triumphs, the most accomplished merchants remained acutely aware of the fragile nature of their standing. They had all witnessed the downfall of colleagues, brought low by a single misstep or a twist of fate. They understood that their fortune and standing hinged completely on their capacity to embrace colossal risks in a relentless realm where failure signified not merely personal downfall, but the obliteration of all they had labored to create. In the heart of the medieval marketplace, a delicate dance unfolded where the promise of great fortune intertwined with the shadow of dire consequences, shaping a vibrant culture among the merchants of the time. They embodied a unique blend of restraint and daring, balancing prudence with audacity, grounded in reality, yet soaring with imagination. They had no choice, for the other path led to ruin in a realm that provided no opportunities for redemption and no safety nets for the faltering. The weight of this lifestyle revealed itself in numerous forms. In a world where commerce intertwined with the sacred, certain merchants found themselves drawn into a fervent devotion, performing intricate rituals and bestowing generous gifts to the needy, all in hopes of securing divine favor and protection. Some transformed into weary skeptics, placing their faith in no one and anticipating the bleakest outcomes in every circumstance. In the tapestry of human experience, countless souls wove intricate superstitions, clutching lucky charms, adhering to elaborate sailing rituals, or choosing to remain ashore on particular days of the week. Amidst their worries and doubts, these medieval merchants were weaving a tapestry of innovation. Their boldness in embarking on far-flung journeys was laying the groundwork for a new era of global trade, forging pathways that would unite cultures and facilitate the flow of ideas across great expanses. They were truly broadening the horizons of the known world, returning with not only rare treasures, but also fresh insights, innovations, and cultural traditions that would reshape European society. In the midst of daunting uncertainty, their bravery shone brightly, a testament to the human spirit. They were not seasoned explorers or battle-hardened leaders prepared for perilous quests. Once upon a time, there were men of commerce, hailing from humble beginnings, who dared to gamble it all. They were driven by a vision, a dream of a brighter tomorrow for themselves and their loved ones. Their struggles weave a tapestry of legacy that stretches far beyond the fleeting gains or losses they encountered. With a bold spirit and an adventurous heart, they dared to step into the unknown, wagering everything on the whispers of distant dreams. This audacious leap laid the groundwork for a thriving commercial landscape, paving the way for the age of exploration, the Renaissance, and ultimately the intricate web of our modern global economy. With each purchase of an item crafted on a far-off continent, with every advantage gained from the intricate dance of international trade, and with each moment you overlook the elaborate tapestry of global commerce that shapes our contemporary existence, you are witnessing the far-reaching effects of those intrepid medieval merchants who dared to risk it all upon the treacherous waves of the ocean. In the age of knights and castles, the vast oceans were a treacherous domain, where even the bravest sailors encountered dangers that would shatter the resolve of those with weaker hearts. In the 14th century, as trade routes blossomed and kingdoms yearned for riches beyond their borders, sailors crafted remarkable strategies for survival that transcended the basics of seamanship. These were methods forged in the fires of necessity, honed through endless journeys, and handed down through the ages by those who had gazed into the void and emerged with their stories intact. Among the most vital skills was the ability to interpret the ocean's whispers through delicate signs that those unfamiliar with its depths would overlook. Experienced navigators had the uncanny ability to foresee storms long before they arrived, simply by observing the flight patterns of seabirds, the hues of far-off clouds, and the unusual movements of dolphins gliding through the waves. They understood that when gulls flocked inland in strange abundance, when the breeze wafted the aroma of rain from an unclouded sky, or when the atmosphere itself felt charged with an ominous weight, the specter of death loomed just beyond the horizon. With a sense of urgency, the sailors sprang into action, fastening down every loose item, meticulously checking the tension of their ropes, and readying their ships for the impending clash. Yet, deciphering the signs from nature was merely part of the tale. In the annals of maritime history, one finds a treasure trove of ingenious methods crafted by medieval sailors, designed for the urgent task of mending their vessels amidst the vast, unpredictable ocean. When the tempest shattered a mast or ripped a sail to shreds, far from the safety of land, hope for rescue vanished into the raging sea. In the age of the sea, sailors became artisans of their craft, weaving together broken timbers with the finesse of intricate ropework. These techniques, demanding and elaborate, were not merely skills, but a journey, taking years to perfect under the relentless pressure of the ocean's embrace. They crafted ingenious techniques for mending sails, utilizing remnants of canvas and a unique waterproof thread, meticulously created from hemp, infused with tar and beeswax. In a remarkable twist of ingenuity, they fashioned emergency steering systems from spare oars and rope when their rudders were compromised, enabling them to steer their vessels through the most treacherous of conditions. The battle against despair was undoubtedly their most remarkable creation. In the age of sails and sea, the brave souls of the ocean knew that the shadows of dread and despair claimed more lives than the fiercest tempests ever could. In the shadows of despair, they wove intricate rituals and traditions, each thread a beacon of hope, crafted to uplift spirits and fortify hearts against the encroaching gloom. Seasoned captains would take turns weaving narratives among the crew, making certain that even during a relentless 3-day storm, there was always a voice recounting tales of home, triumphant journeys, and the treasures that lay ahead at the end of their quest. With voices raised in harmony, they wove melodies that matched their toil, elevating their hearts and forging a bond strong enough to conquer any challenge that lay ahead. These maritime survivors skillfully navigated the intricate dance of water and food rationing, a crucial practice that could spell the difference between life and death on their long journeys. With a keen understanding of the delicate balance between life and thirst, they mastered the art of capturing and preserving rainwater, ensuring that their crew could endure for weeks without succumbing to madness. In their quest for sustenance, they discovered the art of enhancing their meals with seaweed, skillfully catching fish using makeshift lines, and occasionally enticing a seabird to come within reach for capture. With remarkable ingenuity, they unveiled techniques to identify islands that could offer fresh water, all by keenly observing the dance of cloud formations and the graceful flight patterns of birds from great distances. Their vessels were crafted with the wisdom of generations, embodying the lessons learned from navigating treacherous seas. In the age of knights and castles, ships were crafted with a remarkable ingenuity, featuring multiple compartments that could be sealed off in the event of a breach. This clever design, however, would not find its way into the hearts of modern shipbuilders for many centuries to come. The hulls were crafted with overlapping planks, designed to bend and sway with the waves instead of resisting them, enabling the ships to weather storms that would have shattered more inflexible vessels. The arrangement of cargo was an artful endeavor, where the weight of heavier items was meticulously considered to lower the ship's center of gravity, all while keeping vital supplies within reach, even amidst the tumultuous waves. Across the boundless seas, a remarkable tapestry of signals emerged, weaving together the stories of ships as they shared intricate messages that transcended great distances. In the days of old, sailors wove tales through a vibrant tapestry of flags, intricate sail arrangements, and the careful positioning of their ships, conveying messages of impending storms and hidden dangers lurking in the waters. As darkness fell, They ignited carefully managed fires and sent lantern signals that flickered across the vast expanse, crafting a maritime telegraph system. This ingenious method enabled fleets to synchronize their maneuvers and exchange vital information for survival. In a remarkable display of ingenuity, medieval sailors crafted intricate techniques to navigate the vast, uncharted seas, relying solely on the stars, the sun, and their rich understanding of wind patterns and ocean currents. They wove intricate mental tapestries, committing to memory the positions of countless stars and grasping the dance of their locations as the seasons turned and the latitudes shifted. By keenly observing the hues of the water, the varieties of seaweed drifting by, and the different species of fish that crossed their path, they could piece together their approximate location. This wisdom was so precious that skilled navigators kept their secrets under lock and key, sharing them only with trusted apprentices who had demonstrated their dedication through years of unwavering loyalty. The medical knowledge held by these sailors was truly extraordinary. In a time when a single broken bone or an infected wound could spell disaster for an entire journey, they discovered the art of setting fractures with makeshift splints crafted from barrel staves. They mastered the treatment of scurvy with carefully preserved fruits and vegetables, and they honed the skill of performing basic surgery, utilizing tools purified in the boiling embrace of seawater. They grasped the significance of maintaining wounds in a pristine and dry state, crafting poultices and remedies from the treasures they gathered at sea or in distant harbors. They understood the signs of illnesses that could swiftly sweep through the crew of a ship, and they possessed the knowledge to isolate those affected, safeguarding against the outbreak of epidemics. On the high seas of the medieval era, the intricate social structures aboard vessels were crafted with precision, ensuring that order and efficiency prevailed even in the face of unimaginable challenges. Captains held the reins of command, yet they recognized that their strength was rooted in the unwavering loyalty and respect of their crews. They wove together a tapestry of shared struggles and triumphs, ensuring that each soul aboard had a vital role in the journey's success. Seasoned mariners guided the fresh faces, weaving connections of shared reliance that could unite a crew, even in the face of impending doom. They crafted rituals to navigate the depths of loss, ceremonies that celebrated the departed, while igniting the resolve of the living to persist in their struggle for survival. Their garments and gear spoke volumes, echoing the legacy of countless generations who had mastered the intricate dance of survival upon the waves. In the days of old, sailors donned a tapestry of layered garments, each piece carefully crafted to adapt to the whims of the ever-changing weather. The outer layers, imbued with oils and waxes, stood as a steadfast barrier against the relentless embrace of water. They bore personal survival kits filled with vital treasures such as fishing hooks, fire-starting tools, and versatile small knives, each ready to serve in various ways. Their sea chests were wonders of meticulous arrangement, each item thoughtfully secured and placed for swift retrieval, even amidst the fiercest tempests. Understanding the art of managing various kinds of cargo with care was an essential skill for survival. In the age of sails and sea, the wise mariners knew that a restless cargo could send their vessel to the depths quicker than the fiercest tempest. Thus, they crafted intricate networks of ropes, wedges, and barriers, ensuring that every item remained steadfast in its place. They possessed an understanding of the materials that posed significant risks when exposed to moisture, those that could ignite without warning, and those that had the potential to taint food and water sources. In the age of chivalry, the vast oceans became a grand stage, where each journey held the promise of adventure and the shadow of peril, with every sailor knowing that their next departure might be their final curtain call. Yet, those who emerged from the shadows of despair were not merely fortunate. They wove a rich tapestry of skills, knowledge, and unyielding connections that sustained them even when the very ocean threatened their existence. The triumph of any medieval journey hinged on the captain's skill in interpreting the waves and understanding his crew with equal finesse. A masterful captain could feel the delicate change in his crew's spirit as keenly as he could perceive the ominous clouds gathering in the distance. As the supplies dwindled to a perilous level and murmurs of rebellion echoed in the dimly lit corners between decks, the captain understood that true leadership transcended mere commands. In the dimly lit confines of his cramped cabin, he summoned his most trusted officers, the ship groaning with age as they leaned over the charts, the flickering candlelight casting shadows that danced around them. These were not mere conversations about navigation or rationing. They engaged in delicate discussions surrounding the very essence of hope. The captain found himself in a delicate dance, weaving the truth of their grim predicament with a thread of hope, striving to shield his men from the shadows of despair. Reveal too much of the truth, and the crew may forsake all sense of order. Should he provide insufficient information, their faith in his discernment would vanish completely. The most accomplished captains honed a unique skill, one that allowed them to guide their crew's shared spirit through the turbulent seas of fear, fatigue, and longing for home. Challenges that could dismantle an expedition more swiftly than any tempest. They became attuned to the subtle cues of a crew teetering on the brink, noting how conversations would hush at the approach of officers, the surge in petty squabbles over insignificant issues, and the vacant gaze of men lost in thought, their eyes fixed on the distant horizon. Wise captains understood that a perfectly timed tale could hold greater value than an additional barrel of water. In the darkest hours of a voyage, when the crew's morale drooped like heavy sails, a captain would weave enchanting tales of brave souls from the past who had navigated through perilous waters and triumphed against all odds. He would weave tales of the wives and children eagerly anticipating their return, of the joyous celebrations that awaited them, and of the honor they would gain for conquering such a treacherous journey. Yet perhaps the most crucial insight was that triumphant captains recognized the essence of survival at sea lay in fostering a belief among their crew that they were all woven into a grander tapestry, something far beyond their individual selves. The most remarkable maritime leaders did more than steer vessels. They wove bonds of camaraderie, crafting a collective identity where each individual understood that their fate was intertwined with the fate of every other soul aboard. This bond of brotherhood transcended mere words. It was an essential truth that guided their actions. As the tempest raged and the waves crashed violently, a sailor plunged into the depths below. The choice to brave the storm and jeopardize the ship and crew for his rescue transcended mere compassion. It was a testament to the unbreakable bond that wove the very fabric of their journey together. Each man understood that his fellow sailors would go to great lengths to rescue him, for that understanding instilled in him the bravery to do the same for them in return. The most seasoned navigators could interpret these social currents with the same finesse as they deciphered the whispers of wind and tide. They understood the men who would stand firm in the face of adversity and those who might falter when the weight of the moment bore down upon them. They realized that the true strength of a crew transcended mere individual talents. It was a deeper, enigmatic force that blossomed from the connections they forged with one another. Medieval sailors, who braved countless voyages, came to view their ship not merely as a vessel, but as a vibrant, breathing entity. With its own moods and rhythms, one could sense when the crew was in sync by the sound of their footsteps on deck, the cadence of their work songs, and the manner in which they shared their modest meals. And as the delicate balance began to falter, they understood the art of mending it before calamity could unfold. This profound insight into the essence of humanity, when faced with intense pressure, may well be the most vital skill for survival of all. Chapter 11. The Resolve to Persist. As the first light of dawn spilled over the tumultuous waves, the medieval sailor confronted a profound reality that distinguished the living from the departed. To endure the vastness of the ocean was not just a test of skill against the elements, but a profound journey into the depths of one's own spirit. The ocean had pushed their bodies to the brink, challenging them with its biting cold, gnawing hunger, and relentless exhaustion. It had tested their thoughts with solitude, dread, and the unending arithmetic of existence and demise. Yet it delved into the very essence of their being, seeking that indomitable heart that would either guide them through the storm or leave them to the shadows. The accomplished sailor of the medieval era recognized that the ocean was more than a mere physical foe. It was a challenge that tested the mind and spirit as well. In the vast ocean, where day melded into night and the horizon provided no solace, the mind could transform into either a steadfast companion or a treacherous foe. Those who braved the vast oceans and returned from their lengthy journeys were the ones who had mastered the art of navigating by an inner sense, steadfast and unwavering, even when their trusty tools faltered and the celestial guides vanished behind tempestuous skies. This psychological resilience was crafted through a tapestry of rituals, both sacred and secular, weaving together the threads of experience and tradition. Each morning, the prayers that ushered in the day were more than mere requests for divine safeguarding. They were sacred pauses, rich with intention and clarity. The melodies that floated through the air on the deck were not merely for amusement. In a world that often felt devoid of compassion, they stood as testaments to the essence of humanity. These men were not just tiny dots on the vast ocean. They were carriers of rich narratives, aspirations, and the dreams of those who longed for their safe return. The exchange of narratives during the lengthy vigils wove a tapestry of unity that tied the crew together more firmly than any cord could. As the sailor recounted tales of his village, his family, and the dreams that beckoned from beyond the next headland, he was not merely filling the air with words, he was intricately stitching his essence into the shared tapestry of the ship's journey. These tales served as steadfast anchors, keeping the crew from succumbing to the despair that ensnared so many who sailed too far from the safety of known waters. Yet the medieval sailor grasped that navigating the seas of life demanded a careful dance between hope and realism. The ocean commanded reverence for its might, and those who dared to underestimate its wrath seldom returned to share the tale of their misjudgment. The seasoned sailor embraced a thoughtful caution, ever readying himself for the storms ahead while striving for brighter horizons. With meticulous care, they inspected their gear once more, ensuring every supply was firmly in place, and held a deep-seated belief that neither the tranquil sea nor the gentle breeze could be relied upon for more than a fleeting moment before the tides turned. This perspective shaped their views on guiding others and camaraderie while at sea. The accomplished sailor of the medieval seas understood that survival was seldom a journey taken alone. The captain who heeded the worries of his crew, the navigator who imparted his wisdom, the cook who distributed provisions justly, and the humble sailor who toiled without a murmur, each played a vital role in the tapestry of shared endurance. As one thread began to fray, the whole tapestry trembled on the brink of collapse. Among sailors, the notion of honor transcended mere glory or reputation. It was rooted in the profound realization that trust could spell the difference between life and death. When a sailor pledged his word to stand his watch, uphold his equipment, or share crucial information, he was weaving a promise upon which lives hinged. This code of mutual reliance wove connections that frequently surpassed those of kinship, crafted in the fires of shared peril and united ambition. In the age of sails and tides, those intrepid mariners honed their ability to bend with the winds, mastering the art of survival through sheer adaptability. The ocean served as a wise mentor, offering lessons that were never quite the same twice. Those who thrived were the ones attuned to its delicate shifts, able to adapt with grace and insight. They came to understand the subtle distinctions between the fleeting gray of a passing squall and the foreboding darkness that heralded a hurricane. A palpable change coursed through them, a deep instinct that sensed the transition from a gentle breeze to the wild, unpredictable blasts that heralded the coming tempest. They realized that adaptability was not a sign of frailty, but rather the truest embodiment of power. Their connection with the divine was marked by a remarkable flexibility. In the heart of the medieval sailor, a profound faith thrived, yet it was tempered by a wisdom born of experience. When the tempest of uncertainty raged and prayers echoed unanswered, he forged a resilient belief that could navigate the darkest waters, even as he mourned the loss of comrades to the abyss. They began to see faith not as a promise of protection, but as a wellspring of significance that could carry them through their trials. What began as humble pleas for safety transformed into intricate dialogues with destiny, heartfelt thanks for continued existence, and a recognition of their role within an expansive and enigmatic universe. The accomplished sailor of the medieval seas discovered that sustenance came not only from food and water, but also from the beauty and wonder that surrounded him. Amidst the trials they faced, there were fleeting glimpses of beauty that lifted their spirits. The playful dolphins leaping around the bow, the otherworldly ballet of the aurora borealis, and the flawless symmetry of a sunset that splashed the sky with hues beyond description. These moments of beauty transformed into cherished gems, safeguarded against the shadows, a testament that the world held more than just pain and hardship. With the passage of time, the sailor gathered not just experience and wisdom, but also the marks of his journey. He transformed into a wellspring of knowledge, offering insights that reached far beyond the mere technicalities of seamanship. He transformed into a guardian of tales, an interpreter of omens, a guide for the timid and the youth, and a connector between the terrestrial domain and the ocean's depths. His mere existence aboard the vessel acted as a beacon of hope, a testament that one could endure the vastness of the sea and emerge from the brink of the world, carrying their humanity unscathed. The tale of these medieval sailors weaves a rich tapestry that stretches far beyond their time in history. Their grasp of survival as a multifaceted journey, demanding not only physical strength, but also mental toughness, spiritual endurance, and communal harmony, imparts wisdom that echoes through the ages. They revealed that humanity could navigate treacherous realms, not by force, but by embracing change, not by overpowering, but by honoring, and not through solitary bravery, but through shared insight. Ultimately, the most remarkable triumph of the medieval sailors lay not in their command of the ocean, but in their unwavering ability to hold on to hope, even when all seemed lost. With unwavering courage, profound wisdom, and the strength of unity, humanity has shown that it can journey to the farthest reaches of the known world, returning with stories that ignite the imaginations of future generations, urging them to explore beyond those limits. As the biting winds of transformation coursed over the waters that these resilient sailors claimed as their own, the last act of their relentless battle against the wrath of the elements was on the verge of revelation. For countless generations, these brave mariners have faced and triumphed over every tempest the vast ocean dared to conjure. Their wisdom flowed through generations, a cherished legacy shared from father to son, from master to apprentice. They had discovered the art of not merely surviving the treacherous seas, but flourishing amidst them, evolving into beings far beyond the ordinary, no longer just victims of the tempest's fury. In the midst of countless dark nights, when death loomed large and towering walls of water crashed over their fragile vessels, the very timbers groaning in protest, these men unearthed a profound truth about the essence of human resilience. They discovered that survival transcended the mere possession of the mightiest vessel or the keenest blade. It lay in grasping the intricate harmony between bravery and insight, between personal prowess and the power of unity. Each technique they honed, every innovation they welcomed, every ritual they enacted emerged from a profound understanding. The sea required not merely reverence, but a total metamorphosis of the human soul. In a time long past, there existed a sailor of the sea, a man who understood the whispers of the clouds above, who sensed the tempest brewing deep within his soul, and who charted his course by stars that remained hidden to those uninitiated. He was truly a figure beyond the ordinary. He had transformed into a being intertwined with the very essence of nature, in harmony with the rhythms and patterns that those unacquainted with the sea could never truly grasp. As he observed the graceful dance of seabirds in the sky, or felt the breezes whisper against his skin, he engaged in a profound connection with the vast, unseen powers that surrounded him. This was not simply a matter of superstition or primitive ignorance. Rather, it reflected a deep and nuanced understanding of natural systems that contemporary science is just starting to grasp. Imagine the deep psychological shift needed to confront the vastness of the open sea day in and day out, fully aware that each journey could be your final one. These sailors forged a profound bond with the unknown, discovering solace in the very chaos that would send others spiraling into despair. They crafted intricate narratives of chance and fate, spinning tales and melodies that aided them in navigating the ever-present shadow of death. Their shanties served as more than just a source of amusement. They were a form of psychological protection, rhythmic chants that united crews in a common goal and empowered each sailor to rise above their fears. The bond created in these extraordinary circumstances was unlike anything ever witnessed on land. When men have stared into the void side by side, when they have rescued one another from the edge of ruin time after time, when they have divided their last bite of sustenance and their final sip of life-giving water, they transform into something greater than mere friends. They intertwine seamlessly, attuned to each other's needs and reactions with an uncanny, almost mystical understanding. Behold the hidden gem that empowered small crews to navigate colossal ships through challenges that would daunt even today's advanced technology. Yet, what stands out most is that these sailors grasped a truth that seems to have slipped from the grasp of our contemporary society. True mastery unfolds not in the conquest of nature, but in the graceful art of harmonizing with it. They perceived the ocean not as a foe to be vanquished, but as a companion in a timeless dance, at times tender, at times fierce. Ever commanding unwavering focus and reverence, their vessels were not mere strongholds meant to endure attacks, but rather vessels of unity, crafted to flex without fracturing, to submit without capitulating. The navigational techniques they crafted were masterpieces, blending artistry with the precision of science. In a time when a master navigator could discern his location by the hues of the water, the scents carried by the wind, the movements of fish, and the delicate shifts in wave patterns, he showcased a remarkable harmony of senses that seemed almost otherworldly. These men had honed their senses to such a degree that their vessels became a part of them, and their crews moved in harmony with their desires. Their approach to risk was nothing short of groundbreaking. In an age where the winds of fortune could shift at any moment, medieval sailors embraced the unpredictable nature of the sea. They knew that while modern safety measures sought to banish danger, their own survival depended on a blend of preparation, honed skill, and a deep, almost reverent acceptance of the whims of fate. They crafted plans for every imaginable catastrophe, yet they also nurtured the ability to adapt and create when the unimaginable unfolded. This blend of careful planning and flexible reasoning enabled them to navigate challenges that would thwart more inflexible methods. The tale of these extraordinary figures weaves a narrative that reaches well beyond the confines of maritime history. They forged paths in the realms of crisis management, team leadership, and environmental adaptation, crafting methods that echo through time and continue to hold significance in our present day. Their grasp of collective behavior in the face of intense pressure, their strategies for uplifting spirits through enduring challenges, their frameworks for navigating critical choices amidst uncertainty. Each of these revelations holds significance that goes beyond their initial setting. In contemplating their triumphs, we cannot overlook the sacrifices that accompanied them. These were men who seemed to age in the blink of an eye, their bodies etched with the enduring scars of their relentless battle against nature. They battled relentless malnutrition, disease, and injury. Countless souls embarked on their journeys, only to be lost to the fury of storms, the treachery of pirates, or the missteps of navigation. Yet they pressed on, propelled by a force that transcended simple financial need or the thrill of exploration. What propelled them was likely the most basic human desire, the urge to confront the greatest trials, to unveil our true potential when all else is removed, leaving only our core humanity. Amidst the boundless indifference of the ocean, these sailors discovered not despair, but a profound sense of purpose. In facing the reality of their own mortality each day, they unearthed the essence of what it truly means to live. Their tale serves as a powerful reminder of the remarkable ability of humanity to adapt when faced with challenging circumstances. In the face of adversity, we discover the remarkable ability to flourish, even in the most unwelcoming of surroundings. We can cultivate abilities and intuitions that seem enchanting to those who have yet to encounter comparable trials. We can weave connections of loyalty and trust that rise above the realm of ordinary human relationships. In the tapestry of life, we often uncover threads of meaning and even glimpses of joy woven into the fabric of our most challenging moments, where suffering and hardship might otherwise reign. The medieval sailors who braved the treacherous seas were not extraordinary beings. In a world much like ours, there existed individuals who, when faced with challenges, unearthed remarkable strengths hidden deep within. Through relentless practice and a steadfast dedication to their art and their allies, they transformed into something truly exceptional. Their methods were not sorcery, but rather the careful gathering of insights and understanding, handed down through countless generations of experimentation and experience. It was not the absence of fear that defined their bravery, but rather the choice to forge ahead in the face of it, to press on when every fiber of their being urged them to turn back. In today's world, where we often find ourselves shielded from the raw power of nature and the uncertainties of existence, there are still valuable lessons to be drawn from their timeless narratives. This tale imparts lessons on the significance of being ready, the worth of age-old wisdom, the strength found in unity, and the unwavering nature of the human spirit. It serves as a gentle reminder that our most remarkable accomplishments arise not from dominating our surroundings, but from embracing them, seeking balance amid the seeming disorder, and uncovering resilience in our moments of fragility. As the sun dips below the horizon of our journey through the trials of medieval seafaring, we find ourselves filled with a deep respect for the remarkable feats humanity can achieve when wisdom intertwines with bravery. Age-old customs blend with fresh ideas, and personal talents unite with a shared mission. These sailors did not just endure the perilous waters. They evolved through their trials, embodying the remarkable ability of humanity to adapt and flourish in the face of adversity. Their legacy endures, woven into the very fabric of the techniques they crafted and the paths they forged. It serves as a timeless testament that no obstacle is insurmountable when confronted with resolve, insight, and the steadfast connections of camaraderie.